And I think we need to go back to something that Kat said that I agree with. When we figure out...
Bro, they're all agreeing with her. It's crazy. Illinois 9 debate going on right now between Kat Abughazaleh and Daniel Biss. Inshallah, AIPAC will attack him because he's been critical of Israel, and that will open up an opportunity for Kat.
It may be difficult, it may be pushing the envelope, it may be on the edge, but it's necessary when you're in this kind of emergency.
Ms. Fine, regardless, Democrats are projected as of now to take back control of the House, but it would likely be a small majority. Lots of bills get passed that don't get the attention that some of the big ones do. Where will you work with Republicans? On what issues?
Well, first of all, there's a line in the sand. I will never compromise my moral values. I am 100% pro-choice, 100% pro-environment,
100% pro-Israel,
pro-gun safety. I've stood up to the biggest bullies in Springfield, the insurance lobby, the gun lobby, corporate polluters, and I have won. So there is...
If he's critical of Israel, what are his drawbacks? I mean, nowhere near as pro-Palestine as Kat is. He doesn't call it a genocide. For AIPAC, all it means, like, if you don't literally say you love Israel and you will suck Benjamin Netanyahu's penis, you're an op. They did this to Malinowski in New Jersey. Malinowski is a Zionist. Malinowski was always pro-Israel and would continue being pro-Israel. But because he said, I will condition aid to Israel in the future potentially, they dumped $2 million in attack ads against him by saying Malinowski loves ICE. And that's why Anna-Lilia Meiha won the fucking primary.
I think that some of the most promising places for any bipartisan support is AI and tech regulation. AI is one of the most universally unpopular issues right now, even so much so that Republicans thought that Trump went overboard by saying states couldn't regulate AI for 10 years in his big BS bill. That is somewhere where we can compromise. Also, reversing Trump's unconstitutional tariffs. Republicans are feeling the heat from this tax that he's put on the American people, too. But we also have to talk about the donkey in the room. When it comes to leverage, it feels like Democratic leadership is allergic to it. And in our race, we have a lot of progressives. A lot of people will vote to raise the minimum wage. But will they be pressuring their colleagues publicly and privately to do the same? Last night at the State of the Union, would they have listened to Hakeem Jeffries and watched or stood aside, or would they have gotten kicked out like Al Green did?
Yeah, it's 24 to Kat at 17%, unfortunately.
Left, and by that, I mean towards the center.
All right, we mentioned this is a bellwether race in terms of where the Democratic Party goes. Show of hands, early on in your tenure, would you vote to impeach President Trump? Other cabinet members, Kristi Noem, Pete Hegseth. Seems like consensus on that. Let's move over to the economy. Ms. Fine, I'll start with you. What will you do to help constituents in the 9th grapple with the rising costs of goods, utilities? We have
AIPAC is going after Biss.
People's Gas here in Illinois start seeking rate hikes. That's a state issue. But on the federal level, what will you do to deal with these rising costs?
Oh, hell
utilities,
yeah.
goods. So no billionaires.
No billionaires. No one should have $1 billion. That allows you to abuse the economy. It allows you to abuse your workers. I'm a former union rep. I know exactly how hard it is just to get our protections, and yet our government is de-recognizing unions. We have to pass the PRO Act, and we need to make sure that unions can act independently. Like Daniel said, he's endorsed by the AFL-CIO, but I'd love to know how that happened considering a majority of unions voted against endorsing you. And this is the exact type of backroom dealings that we don't know why they happen, but actively minimize union political power.
All right, the AFL-CIO, the umbrella group of labor.
Yeah, so
Get you to respond to
I'm not sure what that means. The process by which the AFL-CIO makes their endorsement is a vote of a bunch of unions, and it requires a 2/3 majority, and I cleared that majority. And by the way, I'm not only endorsed by the AFL-CIO.
You didn't clear that majority. It was overridden. This was reported by someone in the room the day of.
The final vote, which is of the body that is the decision-making body, 2/3 voted for me. And by the way, I'm endorsed by many specific labor unions as well, by SEIU, by the Illinois Federation of Teachers, by many of the unions that represent the working people in our district who have seen me go to the mat. They've seen me fight for working people.
Say rank and filers are on your side.
What Kat is trying
Say rank
to
and
say
filers
is
are on my
the
side.
general populations of the unions did say no. And then it was a small group.
She's cooking him too because he's at the
and
top of the
overrode
leaderboard.
general population.
but,
That pisses me off, not as a candidate, but as a union rep.
I want to get to the issue of ICE and immigration. We know that Mr. Biss and Ms. Abughazaleh have been out there protesting at Broadview. They support the abolishing of ICE. Do you support abolishing ICE? And if so, how do you propose the nation enforce federal immigration law?
Absolutely. So I do support abolishing ICE. My state Senate office.
Oh, get the out of here, dude. It's crazy that these like old establishment Democrats are like, yeah, I support Medicare for all, abolishing ICE. What's next? Luxury communism now, gay space communism, whatever the youth want to hear, I will say it.
And this reign of terror happens to be these officers who are killing people in our streets. I mean, we have young children in Minnesota.
Kat has a hard battle here. Her district is gerrymandered towards older, wealthier neoliberals. I know.
To age without her son.
Daniel Biss also has like way more name recognition. He would have a much easier time clearing the field if Kat wasn't there right now.
So we need to, first off, abolish and prosecute ICE and DHS. And we return DHS's responsibilities to the Departments of Justice, of State, of Treasury, of Transportation, all of these responsibilities that were taken from those departments, we return them there, and we build an immigration system similar to what we had before ICE, but even better with more federal workers. We need to fully abolish and prosecute ICE. We need to repeal the Patriot Act. We need to lift refugee caps, and we need to offer complete amnesty and citizenship to any immigrant here who has not committed a violent crime. Additionally, we need trials. There is no moving forward without justice. Stern words for Greg Bovino aren't enough. Body cameras aren't enough. We need people willing to put everything on the line, not when it's politically convenient, and not have their hands in their pockets.
Let me ask you this. If ICE has information on known violent criminals in the community who are undocumented, should local authorities cooperate?
We have a justice system that can function without ICE and that functioned without ICE before. ICE has shown that it is completely untrustworthy, that it lies, that it kills, that it kidnaps, that it abuses. ICE should not be seen as any legitimate law enforcement agency, and I don't trust a single thing they say.
We have a lot more to go, but we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, some of the issues of...
I'm going to be honest, I think Kat's doing a lot better than I thought she would be doing. Like, she's locked in. She's dialed in. She's also 26 years old. And I think that, like, no matter what happens, a lot of people are going to approach the subject with that in mind. But she's doing a fantastic job. I mean, the very fact that she got 17% in this poll at second position behind Daniel Biss is truly remarkable. Obviously, Laura Fine, I think, is the AIPAC candidate. Daniel Biss actually courted AIPAC and went back on it. But apparently, Dark Money Super PAC Elect Chicago Women goes negative on Daniel Biss in a new ad. Let's take a look.
Another campaign and more empty promises from Daniel Biss. Promising to protect Medicaid, Daniel Biss voted to cut Medicaid for working parents in Illinois. Cleaning up politics, Biss ran a super PAC funded by Mike Madigan. And Biss's promise to serve his full term as mayor, he announced for Congress just days after being sworn in. Daniel Biss, always running for something, willing to say anything to get elected. ECW is responsible for the content of this ad.
Let's fucking go, baby. Also, here's Kat Abughazaleh's new ad blasting Laura Fine at Daniel Biss for courting AIPAC. Illinois 9, once again. Another big L for Kat was that she like quit Twitter. I think you can't be doing that.
I'm Kat Abughazaleh, and my race is about...
And not even because like it's full of Nazis. You just can't quit Twitter because the media is on Twitter. This is how you put your name out there.
I'm Kat Abughazaleh, and my race is about actual change versus the same status quo politics that got us here. One of my opponents is drowning in AIPAC money. The other tried to cash the same checks and then lied about it. I don't want their money. I'm a Palestinian-American progressive who tells the truth. No billionaires, no corporate...
Oh my God. You guys are Twitter. Yeah, exactly, dude. Anything that you guys resoundingly think is good is poison for an election because you're a bunch of silly children. I'm sorry. Anytime somebody is really invested in a candidate in this community, I immediately know that the candidate has some significant shortcomings. If she wins, it will be in spite of Twitter. If you're a candidate, you have to be on every social media platform, including Twitter, and especially Twitter, because that's where the media is. This is how you defend yourself. This is how you make more... This is how you generate controversy and clicks around yourself. Please. All right.
For PACs, my campaign is powered by people
What about Blue Sky? No, not Blue Sky.
who are sick of watching our democracy get auctioned off to the highest bidder. I'm Kat Abughazaleh, and I approve this message because our representatives should answer to us, not to AIPAC.
The media is also on Blue Sky. You just don't know because you refuse to go there. Yeah, you know what else is on Blue Sky? Quotes that are screenshotted from Twitter to generate discourse on Blue Sky. Can I just be a professional in one field where I can know things and you just say, you know what, maybe he knows things. Maybe he knows more than I do. Can we have one thing? Can social media be that one thing?
From Trump donors the last quarter of 2025 than from our own district. And I think that raises a really fundamental question, which is who will you be representing when you get to Congress?
I have to respond to
Just
this.
very quickly, 'cause
I have a handful of bipartisan donors, about 3% who've donated to my campaign. Anybody who's donating to my campaign, I'm sorry, I just need to finish, is donating to a woman who has a record of being 100% pro-choice, 100% pro-environment.
That's what
who,
Israel
again,
is.
has stood up to the
Israel's
biggest
100% pro-choice.
one. Anybody
I
who's
do need to-
donating to my campaign knows that if you're a millionaire or a billionaire, I'm willing to raise your taxes.
All right,
This is what they're
I do want to
supporting.
bring Ms. Abughazaleh into this. We did get an email from 9th District resident Stephen Levin. He sent us a tweet
Wait,
of
real
your-
quick before
Go
we
ahead,
get
go ahead
to
and
that.
respond.
This is the exact type of hypocrisy that people are sick of in politics. Over and over again, the lying, the bickering over who likes AIPAC more. The idea that you can separate yourself even after meeting with them, even after pushing an organization that supports this administration and that is supporting a genocide is not a group you should meet with. And frankly, both of you are trying to push policies that even if you're supporting the Block the Bombs Act, have a lot of very precarious and dangerous implications, such as anti-BDS legislation, such as not conditioning certain aid. We need to ensure that we are following our own laws and not lying about who we are or who's supporting us.
Okay, so
All right, hit me.
speaking of Israel and Palestine, Ms. Abughazaleh, we got an email from 9th District resident Stephen Levin, who brought up this tweet of yours from 2024, responding to President Biden's criticism of Hamas. It said, pretending October 7th was motivated by ancient desires to kill Jews is not only wildly
100%
racist, but
correct,
wrong.
by the way.
Like 99% of attacks in history, both by military and terrorists, October 7th was not in a vacuum. It had motivation, which is why they took hostages. Is this somehow saying that the October 7th attack was justified?
Not at all. That's not at all what I was saying. But what I'm saying here is, first off, regarding President Biden's comments, where he described that as motivated by ancient desires. That is a very loaded statement, I say as a Palestinian person, that implies that there is some bloodthirst between Palestinians or Jewish people. And it's dangerous to both of us. Our lives are inextricable from
Well, he
one
was referring
another.
to Hamas. He was referring to Hamas specifically.
But even then, Hamas is in Gaza. It's being associated with Palestinians by both the Biden government and the Trump administration. And so you can't just look at their actions and hear their words and not see a relation there. Additionally, for the second part, I think it's important to mention that, yes, it didn't happen in a vacuum because of Netanyahu's far-right government and because of a pattern of discrimination, a pattern of second-class citizenship, a pattern of exile, and a pattern of displacement that my own family underwent. And my position on this is really not that radical. Every civilian deserves to be safe. No child deserves to go to bed hungry.
She should also
Every
say
war
she worked
criminal
at
should be
Media
held
Matters,
accountable.
tackling
Palestinians
anti-Semites
deserve
for
to
most of her
we should
career.
recognize their statehood so they can
Like literally.
negotiate a
She was a
solution on
George
peaceful footing.
Soros operative at Media Matters, okay?
Consider him a war criminal. Would you support international war criminal charges?
Like-
One hand up.
I mean, we should participate in international processes. There should be thorough investigations, and I think the answer is likely going to be yes, absolutely.
I don't
wanna
think it's
I wanna
not
be
likely
clear-
yes, it
I want to
is.
be clear about one thing here, which is very important for people who are concerned about this issue to understand. AIPAC is attacking one candidate in this race. AIPAC is attacking me and only me. They see me as the biggest threat to their agenda.
Yeah,
They
good.
see
Keep
me
it
as the
coming.
biggest threat because they know I'll be an effective critic of the Netanyahu government when they act the way they have, and they know I'll be effective at building coalitions.
I hope they keep
to actually
attacking him.
End the nightmare and bring about peace, and that's what I'm going to do in Congress. AIPAC knows it. I think the voters of the 9th District do too.
I think there's something else that's missing here that we have to discuss. You can love your country and disagree with your leadership. I love my country. I don't like Trump. I love Israel and the Israelis. Netanyahu has to go. And I've been saying that for a very long time, way before October 7th. But I think right now what we need to focus on is how do we get to a two-state solution? How do we make sure there's safety, peace, and dignity for the Palestinians in Gaza and the Israelis
What about the West
Israel?
Bank?
The West Bank, too.
So, okay, let's focus on the West Bank.
Let's talk about the West Bank.
Should there be a withdrawal of Israeli settlements in the West Bank?
Of course.
Yes.
I'm opposed to the settlements.
Should there be a withdrawal of Israeli forces in the West Bank?
Yes, we need peace and dignity everywhere.
Ms. Abughazaleh,
That was hard. That was hard for her to say.
The state of it, the right of
AIPAC
Israel
about
to-
to spend money on her, too.
This question is said as if it doesn't exist. What we need is to ensure that any solution, whether that is a two-state, a single secular state, whatever it is negotiated not by America, but by the people that actually live there, by Israelis and Palestinians. This is, my great-grandfather had a hotel. And when they were expelled, he carried around the key ring to every single door in his hotel till the day he died. He was buried.
And he was he lived in Palestine?
Yes, my father's side is Palestinian. And if someone came to me and said, you could have the hotel, but you displaced 300 people, I would say absolutely not, because trauma begets trauma. But I think it's really important that any solution has full civil and legal rights for everyone living there, regardless of their ethnicity, their religion, and that is decided by the people who actually live there, because we spend so much of our time as a country interfering in other countries and saying that we dictate how they live, and it's just made places worse.
All right, so Palestinian American, 2 Jewish Americans on this panel do believe there is an anti-Semitism problem
Absolutely.
in the United States.
And I've devoted my career to fighting it. I cover the far right. Conspiracy theories are inherently rooted in anti-Semitism, which is why it's so dangerous to align with far-right donors, because they're pushing the Great Replacement theory, which has inspired almost every mass shooting of the 21st century.
What about anti-Muslim sentiment, anti-Palestinian sentiment?
It's a horrible problem. It's a horrible problem.
And I think we need to go back to something that Kat said that I agree with. When we figure out...
Bro, they're all
this
agreeing with
two-state
her. It's
solution,
crazy.
the Palestinians need to be brought to the table, because right now we are in a humanitarian crisis. And we have to make sure that
I don't believe
every
it. I don't believe when she
individual
says
has
it.
the opportunity to be fed, to be housed, has health care, has schools. Right now, I think President Trump is making us a laughingstock, because he's talking about building hotels and golf courses in Gaza. That's not what the Palestinian people want. They need to be brought to the table to talk about how are they going to rebuild and how are we going to get to this two-state solution.
Can I just jump into something really important? Because I do think that Senator Fine said something critical, which is what's going to get us to a place, I forgot the words you used, but I would say a place of peace and justice, and a place where there are two viable states side by side with self-determination, dignity, peace, and security. And the answer is not what we've been doing. The answer is not continuing to give unconditional military aid to Israel.
Yeah,
And
he says
the
he's getting
problem
condition aid. That's why AIPAC is coming
doesn't
after him.
Want a two-state solution.
Do you support any aid to Israel? Or could that,
Yeah, I
could that scuttle?
support, for example, defensive weaponry. I support Iron Dome.
Ms. Abughazaleh, any aid to Israel at all?
Defensive weaponry is an oxymoron. Weapons are inherently offensive, and for any
Do you
ally...
support Iron Dome?
No, I don't support any. We need to condition all aid to any country, any ally. It doesn't matter if it's Israel
so
or if
Iron
it's
Dome
Mexico.
was where they shoot down
missiles that are coming in.
Right. If we aren't using our leverage, there is no reason to condition any aid. We absolutely should be supporting our allies, but they have to follow our own laws first. It's not that. You're conditioning aid.
There's more to it. I've been to Israel. I've been in the bomb shelters. I've been to the borders. They are being attacked constantly at every angle. If you do not fund something like the Iron Dome, the amount of death and destruction would be incredible, not just to the Israelis in Israel, but also to the Palestinians in Gaza.
I haven't been to Israel because my dad was scared I would get detained if I went, because that is the reality, even as an American citizen. We actively need to be using our leverage against any ally that is not following our own laws, and we have seen a genocide happening in Gaza. We have been seeing lack of freedom of movement.
I'm almost
People are
10 years
trapped
older
there.
than
They
this
have nowhere to go.
candidate,
They can't
by the
even
way.
swim away from the border because they will be killed in the water. This is not that difficult. And if we're supposed to be a good ally, then we need to make sure that our allies are following basic human dignity.
All right, Mr. Biss, I want to bring up a quote that the Chicago Tribune Ed Board made about you. They said they weren't comfortable with your aggressive confrontations with agents. And we should mention, I mean, there have been viral videos of you and Miss Abughazaleh. Miss Abughazaleh is under indictment right now for that very thing. But will you continue that type of aggressive, in-your-face kind of activism if you're elected to Congress?
Of course, of course.
The fuck?
I'll do it if I'm elected to Congress. I'll do it if I'm not elected to Congress. I'll do it if I'm the mayor. I'll do it if I'm out of politics. It's critical. It's essential. We cannot win this battle against authoritarianism just inside of government buildings. It requires a movement of people out in the streets. And as mayor of Evanston, with a responsibility to represent my community and protect residents of Evanston, of course, I'm in the streets every day, and I'm going to continue doing that. That is how we beat this back.
And Ms. Abughazaleh, we mentioned many videos that we've seen you at Broadview. I've been out to Broadview many, many times. Lots of protesters out there, and obviously the scenes of tear gas and rubber bullets, those were horrific. But you are facing federal conspiracy charge for obstructing. How does physically blocking a law enforcement vehicle qualify as free speech? Vehicle was trying to get out and you were physically blocking it.
I can't get into any specifics on my case because that's kind of how legal cases work. But what I will say is that we've pled not guilty because this is a free speech issue. And right now, the Trump administration, which camera am I supposed to look at right now? Because I want to make sure I'm speaking to the audience.
I would say look at the moderator.
Well, the Trump administration is trying to make it illegal for you, Paris, to be able to protest, for you to be able to be in a room with other people and hold you accountable for any actions that might happen around you. They are trying to criminalize freedom of speech. They are trying to criminalize free association, and it's going to
etching
come
the word
for you.
pig into the side of a vehicle. Isn't that property damage?
I didn't do that, and it doesn't even allege that in the indictment. But honestly, that's just kind of falling for the exact same lies that ICE and the Trump administration continue to repeat. We know that ICE lies, and we know that they are trying to find any excuse to invoke the Insurrection Act, to abuse protesters, and to make sure that they scare us into silence. And once again, it's not going to work. And if we don't stand up for it, people with power and platform and privilege, and frankly, the first time I went out to Broadview, the second time and the third time, there wasn't a single elected official out there, then we are just going to get run over.
And Mr. Biss, you were out in Broadview as well, and there are videos about Ms. Fine.
I just want to say I really agree with that. First of all, these people are liars, so don't take them at their word when they make all kinds of allegations, because you know what they said about the murder of Alex Preddy. You know
Daniel
what they
Biss,
said
more
about
like
the murder
Daniel
of Renee
Riz,
Good.
dude.
You shouldn't take them any more seriously when they're talking about Kat or
He is
anybody
so
here in
aggressively
Illinois.
trying
And
to
second of all,
lean
we are in an
into
emergency,
Kat's.
and we have to do as
He is so
much
aggressively
as
trying to
humanly
lead
possible. We
into
have to pull
Kat's
every
shine. It's
single
crazy.
lever to put a stop to the nightmare and keep people.
And so,
Daniel
again, we've
Biss.
seen the two of you, many videos out there. Ms. Fine, we haven't seen that with you. Are you meeting the moment if you're not out there sharing this frustration with protesters?
I feel I am. I've been at local protests, but what's more important is I've been doing the work to get it done, to protect the people here in Illinois from what's going on with.
All right, I have to get to the gaming portion of the broadcast. Unfortunately, I'm cutting this debate short.